The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday. Happy to be here. I'm in Los Angeles, California, on the west side, near the OCN. Haven't seen it yet. Don't plan on seeing it. Walked by a Pilates studio today. Thought about going in and setting up some sessions. That's as close as I'm gonna get, I think, to that. Just the idea. I Googled it. I looked up the site and was like, oh, it's around the corner from me. I could go there. And I might do that, but I don't know.
You're like a window shopper.
It's been nice out here. Andrew's in St. Louis. Yeah, exactly. For things that I should, activities and solutions for my skin and well-being. It's that all. I'm on this strip where I walk a mile down to get Starbucks, and I swear to God, it's juice bar, Pilates studio, CBD infusions, juice bar, facialist, nail salon, juice bar, Pilates studio. That's all there is on this. It's crazy. It's just who needs this much stuff? I felt bad about myself the entire time. There was a place to get ketamine infusions, which is something that people in LA do for depression, which I was kind of interested in. Or IV stuff, but it's just, this is a very,
it's like stay young, stay young,
everyone
stay young.
Is walking around in muted tones with just very flowy clothing, either very tight clothing, like Lulu, tight, yoga pants, or very flowy, but everything is beiges and browns, everything's muted. Everyone seems peaceful and serene. Everyone has a dog that's behaving itself. Everyone's dog is on ketamine too. It's crazy. Andrew just disappeared. Well, we'll wait for him to come back and I'll just talk until he appears again. He literally just dropped off there was, I feel like there was a nuclear explosion. Yeah, it really did feel like that. So yeah, I might try Pilates or whatever. I am. Oh, he's coming back. He's magically appearing again. Here comes David Copperfield.
Ta-da.
Did you hit something with your foot or something? What's going on?
No, it reloaded me.
Oh, you guys, I'm getting a flower delivery. Hold on one second.
Oh,
wait a second. There's a man with flowers that just walked by, and he's kind of looking at my door. Let me just take a peek.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get me. Well, hello. Oh, it's for me. 1 second. Hello. Hi. Is that for me?
What the?
For Nikki? Yeah, that's me. Thank you. Hold on. Let me
What the
let me get
hell?
you a little tipola.
You just moved there yesterday.
Someone found me, Andrew. Someone found me. I'm guessing the only person who has my address is the one who sent something. What do you tip a flower guy? $10? That's probably seems good. Okay.
yeah, that's nice.
3,000. Give him 3,000. $3,000.
He's taking a picture of it to confirm that it's there. Do you want me in it? To go,
Have him
yeah,
come in. Get
I
him on the
got
mic.
it.
Sure. She's producing the picture right now.
on.
Get the lighting right.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Can you hand them to me? Because I'm doing a podcast right now. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
All right, let's see.
All right. It is kind
see these
of
flowers.
insane looking. It's very beautiful. It's got a
Peacock.
lot going on. It looks like a butterfly shape almost. It's got, my mom would think this is hideous. I'll say that whenever I get flowers, my mom's just like, I wouldn't have done that. I'm like, well, okay, well, it's not for you. Oh my God, it's actually so beautiful. Oh, this is definitely from Chris. Oh my God, it's so pretty. It's really well done. Why did he send me this? What did I do? I know what I didn't do
It's like a
last night. Mission
you're super
uncompleted.
flowing.
Oh my God, it's so pretty. This place, he always gets it's from Seed Floral Fitting. He always gets them from here, and they're the most beautiful arrangements. I was just gonna buy flowers today because I was like, this place needs a little spice up. Okay, it's for he sent it to my I wish I could tell you what name he sent it to because it's my fake name that I check into places under so that stalkers can't kill me.
Oh, Nicole.
Nicole Renee.
Yeah, my real name. It said, oh, that's funny. Love that we're doing this. So excited to be here with a gal. Respectfully. And then he wrote a person's name that's an inside joke between us. That's so nice. He left me a card yesterday when he was going to work that was on my suitcase in the morning, in which he shared feelings. It was so nice. He was like, I couldn't share those kinds of feelings with you in the room because it was too embarrassing. And I was like, please do that more. Please say those things to me every single day. He's like, I can't. It just was so, it's cute when boys get vulnerable and like start stretching their wings in this way. It's very nice. This flower arrangement costs so much freaking money. What a nice guy. It's so nice to get flowers, especially when you see a flower man coming and you go, I hope those are for me, but you can't say it out loud. And then they are for you. It feels great. It's better than when you just get there and there's flowers waiting. It's better when you see the guy and you go, no way are they for me. They're never for me. And you feel like a girl in an office who never gets flowers, like a Drew Barrymore in a movie that I don't know the example of.
Or like you're in a beauty pageant and you're getting the flowers on stage.
They're so
you're
huge though. They're so pretty. Oh my God. I love them. Yeah, so I feel special today.
He's like, Nikki, do you know Jessica?
What? Oh,
Nikki,
yeah. Nikki, I'm looking for...
He's like, I recognize you from the roast, but I'm looking for a different girl, Danielle.
I did get recognized last night.
Huge tits,
on the street.
really hot.
I was like, we were walking down...
on stage.
On stage, yeah. People seemed to know who I was when they said my name and all of my credits and I walked on stage. People were like, oh my God, that's Nikki Glaser.
That is weird.
It was crazy.
Even at the end, they still knew.
No, Chris and I went for a walk after dinner, and I was crying because my jeans were so tight that it was so uncomfortable. And they are my biggest. They are just the jeans that I've had. I talked about this the other day. They're my, like, I want to wear something comfy, almost like pajama pants jeans. That's how big these jeans used to be, and they are so tight that it was hurting to wear them, and I was crying as we walked down the street. And then all of a sudden, this girl was like, oh my God. And like, she was just by herself and she was so sweet and said she's a big fan. And then we took a picture and then we were walking further and he was like, are you happy being here? Cause I feel like he feels responsible for me coming. I mean, he is like, the reason I'm here. I wouldn't be here if he didn't get a job out here. So he was like, he just was trying to make sure I'm happy. And I was like, I mean, I just got recognized. I'm good in this neighborhood. Until now, I was thinking it was a little lacking. Now I'm A-okay. No, it was very nice. And we went out to dinner, and then I went and did some sets. I'm like living that LA life again. Took an Uber to the sets. You know, when you take an Uber to a comedy club, they always go, oh, you in the mood to laugh tonight, huh? Who are you going to see? And then I have to go, I'm actually performing. And they go, oh my God! Is it your first time? Have you done this before? I'm just like, yeah. I mean, and then, but I think she caught my tone of like, I don't really feel like talking because I had to go over my set and like work on things. I wasn't trying to be rude, but at the same time, I don't owe anyone a conversation, right? Even if it's Uber
She's
Black.
Like, did you bring 10
Uber
people?
X?
Are you an actress? Are you a TikToker? Oh, you actually just do this?
Yeah.
Ew. For how long? 20 years? Oh. Okay.
It has been 20 years.
Is it short form? Like,
oh, I just want to say, someone found the Chappelle Show ticket. Like someone found, I guess on Pinterest or someone had posted the ticket that they went to go see Chappelle. And one of our besties found the actual ticket from March 5th, I believe it was, 2003.
2004? Oh, yeah, 2003. Mm-hmm.
2003. And that makes total sense because I went to go see his show because, here it is. March 2nd, Sunday, March 2nd, 2003, Fillmore Auditorium, Dave Chappelle. That was the one I went to. And it makes sense because I think the first time I ever went on stage was March like 12th. It was like a week and a half later. And this was during the time when I bought this ticket where I was like, I gotta figure out what stand-up comedy is. So I was like, I gotta go to my first show. And that was, so thankfully, you know, the way I remembered it is the way it happened. But I'm glad there's some evidence of this. Otherwise, nothing. It's so crazy that something could happen in the early 2000s at post 9/11, and yet there's no record of it. Mysterious man walking past the window.
I like that. Like 9/11 is the moment they started keeping records.
I feel like
it's like no one knew.
What a documented day. And then you have a huge venue with 4,000 people that they all buy a ticket to go see a guy, and then there's no record of it online. That's one of the most obnoxious things about searching. There's a couple things on the internet where I go, how have we not remedied this? One is searching lyrics it's still like you're searching porn, like pop-ups come up, there's misheard lyrics, like there's no like one IMDb for lyrics that is like fact checked. And then there's also concerts from the past. There should be records, archives of every big major venue and every artist that was there. Like I keep trying to look for John Mayer when he was when I saw him in 2000 open for Guster. There's no evidence. There's no record of it. I can't find it anywhere. How is no one writing about that? Or how is this not data collect? There's like, we know like the pioneers, how many people like went to, town hall meetings back then, but this was a thing where thousands of people collected together and there's no record of it in the 2000s. That seems weird to me, no?
Okay, let's put it out there. Let's put it out. Where was the concert?
Okay, I really like this. The Pageant. And it was John Mayer. And I know you'll find a lot of Guster opening for John Mayer, but no, this is John Mayer opening for Guster, either year 1999 fall, spring of 2000, fall of 2000, or spring of 2001. The Pageant Theater in St. Louis, Missouri. And if you can find that, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, like I love our little internet sleuths. It's been very helpful. But I did
well, it's like Grateful Dead back in the day are like, this tape was 84 or 1973 live from friggin' some place in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
That's how people found shit. It was just people would tape it, and then eventually I guess they'd record the tapes. But John Mayer and Guster, I don't think anyone like that show. I don't think anyone like was like, I gotta remember that. I gotta record this. I gotta keep a memory
of this.
But
like thousands of people were there. That's the thing. Like, how can thousands of Americans come together in one place and then it disappears from the record? That's the thing that I'm just like.
My theory
it makes you feel so old and crazy.
It doesn't. It's not that it has disappeared from the record, but I was talking to someone who works in like data security or whatever. So he's like really good with like hacking and understanding the internet. He told me that when you're doing a Google search, you're only seeing like 1% of websites. We like don't see everything that's on the internet.
Really?
So
I mean, I know the dark web is something, but like
not even dark web.
I am kind of disappointed in Google. To be honest, and I did read something about this that Google doesn't really do a good job anymore. Someone had written an article about like, why is Googling things like not fun anymore? There's always ads. You're always getting ads that look like real websites. They found a way to trick you now where you will click on ads thinking it's like not an ad because they look like it. Also, YouTube, their search is garbage. Like you search something, it will give you 3 videos of or 3 to like six videos of what you actually search for. And then it just starts showing things that you might be interested in that have nothing to do with the video you searched. It's insane to me. I don't get it.
They're like a bully that wants to, they're like, no, you don't want that. This is what you want.
I'm like, no, I want bunion massage videos. I don't want to see,
a video about Hitler
Whitney
again
talking to Andrew Schultz. Although, yes, I would have watched that video a few nights ago. I don't want it now. I want warts being cut out of people's feet. I don't want a Taylor Swift cover of the song Clean. I will want that in 3 days.
I feel like they like you searching warts being cut out is like Noah searching a rock band that like cuts themselves on stage or something. I
get a
like
set
it's a similar
list of
brain.
One of Noah's favorite bands is when I put out wart cut. I will say that I've been searching warts being dissected from feet for years and years and years on YouTube, okay? Like I've seen every single video there is, and there has been something has happened in the past few months, and it is bananas. There are thousands of videos, hundreds every day of new warts, and they're all shot in China or India or places where they're not speaking English, definitely in the east, the far east, and they all are shot on like really like crappy potato cameras where it's like hazy and it's like being held by and they're not in like they don't even look like they're actually medical procedures. And I don't like it because they always use a scoop, and I want something to be like cut out. I want it to be scraped. I don't want it to be like scooped out. So they're using these really dull instruments, and they have littered the search. Like, you can't find a wart cutting video that is like pure anymore. They are all these ones that like they soak the feet and so they're wet, and they scrape out these wet. It's disgusting. And I want my good old fashioned dry wart cut videos. But it's weird. It's like I was
They're
into
flooding
something.
the market.
I'm
Yeah,
not
too much supply.
wrong.
Yeah.
This is something that people are into watching. And then there's cartoons that Besties have sent me that are going all over YouTube and TikTok of people make cartoons of warts being cut off of feet and calluses being shaved, and it's like a cartoon foot, and it makes a sound of like and it's like that's a whole new trend. And then another thing that a ton of besties have sent me is the bunion corrector. That was another thing that has flooded TikTok.
Yeah.
Is this person with a bent bunion, and then they put on this little thing, and they crank it on the side, and it straightens the foot, and it makes like a bone sound, like a popping bone sound. It's not a real effect. That thing actually doesn't work. It doesn't correct bunions, but it is satisfying to watch. I'll give you that.
I love picturing you like, I don't know, just only like 25 years ago in a library with one of those newspaper. Remember, you would look and you'd find
Microfiche.
clips,
Yes.
like microfiche of looking for wart, like
I'm trying to solve a
fucking
crime.
interviews.
Yeah.
It's just so funny to think like anything you think of in your brain, the weirdest thing on earth is one click away. And you can see it in seconds.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
Well, I used to look
Like
at my mom had this like medical journal, and there was a dermatology section that had all these skin things, and that's where I first saw pictures of warts, and I was just like, and there's little seed. They look like
my
seeds, but they're blood
penthouse.
vessels. Oh, it was. I used to sneak it. I was obsessed. I would go to Barnes and Noble and look at pictures. Like, I just loved it. It's so weird. I don't know what's wrong with me. I truly don't.
Oh, your dad comes in and you're like underneath the blanket, like and
It's not
hearing
what you
noises,
think,
and
Mom.
he's like, "Oh my god,
It's worse.
it's way worse."
We got to go to break. We'll be right back after this. All right, we're back. Yeah, I went and did 2 sets last night, one at the Comedy Store, one at Laugh Factory. And it was so fun. I haven't been on stage since the Tom Segura show. And then before that, I hadn't been on stage since September
11.
4th? September, yeah, since 2001. So it's just wild to be back at it, but it just like comes back to you right away. And it is, the weird thing is like I haven't performed except at the Fox Theater with Tom Segura, and I wasn't really paying attention to, the sound just sounded so different than most of the stage I perform on, but it was weird. My voice was definitely different. I could say like all the bits that I had been used to doing, like they're just like more up here, and there's like I just don't have to try as hard. It felt so good. And I was at the store and I was bringing up, so there's no host. Each comedian just brings up the next comedian. So you end your set and you're like, thank you guys. And then you have to go, your next comedian. It's the worst part of my life is doing that part. I hate it because I don't know what to say. Sometimes like it's just random who is going to be after you. And sometimes I don't know their credits, so I have to look them up beforehand, like as they're in the room with me, like backstage. I'm just like, oh, how are you? And I'm like Googling their name to be like, what have they done? And
Gallagher.
Yeah. So I like, I'm just like, he smashes. You don't bring your watermelon around him.
He's like, I changed. I do cantaloupe now.
Come on, Gallagher. That was a reference to Mark Maron's podcast with Gallagher. Come on, Gallagher. Isn't that what happened? Gallagher left the room.
Right?
Yeah, he walked out of the interview and he
Yeah.
goes, come on, Gallagher. Oh, come on. So I was there last night. It was me, Jeremiah Watkins, Annie Lederman, and Owen Smith backstage. And I was bringing up Owen Smith. So I did my set. And I really hate hosting. I've never been good at it from the first time I ever hosted. It's just so unnatural to me to go like, how you guys feeling tonight? Cool. And then you have to go like, so I was shaving my pussy. Like it just is such a weird, like, an MC is, do you know what an MC stands for, Andrew?
Yeah. Micro cock.
Well, in your case, but in other people's.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, something else?
Wait, seriously, try to think of it.
MC, Master of Ceremony.
Yes, good. So yeah, you're supposed to be like, welcome to the show,
Wow.
and just like very.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't. It's some people are great at it, others aren't. I've never been good at it. I get nervous, and it's just such a bummer. At the end of a good set, you have to kind of like turn into this other person. And last night, I had the guy's intro. I knew, and I actually like Owen Smith, and I think he's really funny. So it's like easy for me to like hype this guy up. And I'm like, he is hilarious. I've known him forever. The show is continuing to be great. You have so many great comics tonight. This next guy is no different. He is a writer for Blackish. You've seen him all over your TV and in movies. Please welcome to the stage, Owen Wilson. I said Owen Wilson.
Oh.
Instead of Smith. And as Owen was coming out of my mouth, 3 names came to mind. It was either Benjamin, Smith, or Wilson, and I picked one because there's an Owen Benjamin who no longer does comedy, I don't think, or at least he does it in like alt-right circles. Then there's Owen Wilson, who I didn't even realize when I said Owen Wilson, I knew it was wrong. And then instantly I was like, I mean Smith. And I was like, God damn it. And Owen comes out from behind the curtain behind me and I go, I'm sorry. And then I thought I had said Owen Benjamin. So when I said Owen Wilson, I thought I was saying Owen Benjamin. And I go, oh my God, not Owen Wilson. He's canceled. So that doesn't even make sense to anyone.
Oh my God.
So it was so confusing. I felt so bad. And I had so much anxiety when I came off stage because then Owen has to just go deal with that, which is fine. I mean, it like gave him something to joke about. And he is a nice person and has no ego about that kind of stuff at all. But I'm backstage like, I just had an amazing set. And then I'm like, I ruined it with that. I was like so scared that sometimes my brain just doesn't work. And I feel so stupid. I feel like the same way I feel when I used to be in like gym class and not be able to like catch a ball. Just like, why can't you do this thing that's normal? Like, what did you do? Why did your brain do that? Like, I was so mad at myself and I just couldn't let it go. It was until Owen came off stage and was saying goodbye. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And everyone backstage, Annie and Jeremiah and Jessica, this other comedian, they were like, who cares? It's not a big deal. And I'm like, I just totally fucked it up. Everyone's going to know I'm such, like, why am I such, I was just revealed as someone who was so competent, so good, so like, and then a total mess because after I fucked it up, I was like, Smith, and then all of a sudden I get back to Nikki in 4th grade, just being so insecure, not knowing what she's saying, nervous. Like, I'm just like, why can't there just be a fucking host? I guess it's easier this way, but
yeah, it's a different brain.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they always go, how do you do stand-up? And it's like, I couldn't do a Microsoft Excel presentation. And I think that's where, when you're an MC and you're talking like this, you have to turn on that I'm addressing a crowd voice. And it's like, it's not natural.
Yeah.
It's just like a different part of your brain. It's a different kind of presentation voice, especially at the end of a set where you're completely in the moment, you're flowing, you're thinking of funny. To go from that to, okay, are you guys ready? I remember the first time I introduced you. Do you remember what I said?
No, what?
Yeah, it was really bad. I forget.
It was like my big moment. Nikki gave me the opportunity to host at Caroline's.
Yeah, it was the first time.
Excited.
Yeah.
Had a great set. Did very well. You didn't really hear it because you're in the back. Yeah,
I don't usually watch, but it's not because of you.
No. I know. I'm just fucking around.
Yeah.
So then when you came up, I go. I was so nervous, and I should have worked on this. I should have at least wrote it down. And then I go, you saw her on Howard Stern, you heard her on Conan, and now she's here tonight. Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like
You see her on Up Sirius XM, and you
that's what it was.
Touched her on Howard Stern. You smelled her on Conan. You were like going through the 5 senses, and you got them all wrong. That's so funny. Yeah. And
so then I get off, and I feel exactly how you're feeling now, and I was like really fucked up over it. And then I go, all right, next show I do the. I fuck it up. I fucked it up again. And you look at me, you go, I know it's funny, but like, work on it. Like, you can do it. Like,
that is annoying
like,
when like
better.
you say, so like when Benedict Polizzi opened for me. He was from F Boy Island. When he opened for me in Vegas, he had like his manager with him, and Benedict is on stage, and I'm about to go, onto stage, and I just want to give everyone who's performed a shout out. I'm gonna be like, give it up for Anya and Benedict, but I want to say his name again so people follow him and everything. And I go to his manager really quick. I was like, it's Polizzi, right? And he goes, yes, Polizzi. It's not Polizzi. It's Polizzi. And I go, what? Why would you give me that? Why? So of course I go out and I go, Benedict Polizzi. And I say the completely wrong thing. And I go, I would have never done that had his manager not gotten in my ear. But yeah, you just feel like
here's Benedict Smelly Pussy.
It's like, yes, it was so it is there, but that's when I get really nervous. Is like I feel like it's almost like you're a race car driver and you're so good at what you do and every turn is so precise and every little decision you make, and then a bee flies in your car and then you look unhinged and crazy. Like you start going like, ah, ah, and everyone like knows you're a fool. You know how like sometimes, when people fall, you're just like, oh no, you're not an Oscar-winning actor. You just fell. Like you just look. That's how it looks
you're
to
human.
me. Yeah,
it humanizes you.
But it almost makes you go like, oh no. Like it takes away from the whole thing. People don't realize like, oh Nikki, no one cares. It wasn't a big deal, and it truly wasn't a big deal. It was just a set. But like people, I bet you anything, if I hadn't have done that, they would have had a better review of my performance had that thing not happened at the end, because it took something like subconsciously it took something from people's brains and we're like, she's kind of a dork that doesn't know what's going on. There's something, whether or not they would ever admit it to themselves, I bet science would show that they subconsciously rated me a little bit less professional because of it, because it was unprofessional. I didn't know what I was saying. But Owen was so nice about it. He was like, I don't care. He was like, I have the worst name for entertainment. It is so boring. It is just, there's nothing to remember about it. It is just Owen Smith. He was like, it happens all the time. He's like, I don't care. So he was very nice about it. But, and then I went over to the Laugh Factory, and that was fun too. That was a really good time. It's nice to be working on new stuff and getting up again. And and usually I like walk across. Usually I'm like staying across the street from these places when I come to LA and do sets. So it was nice to like take a drive in and kind of like think about what I was going to do and give it some thought, because that's pretty much the only thought that goes into it these days. And it was fun. And then, I went back home and Chris was already asleep.
How long does it take to get there?
22 minutes.
Now?
But it's, I'm going at 9 o'clock at night.
Bad.
So yeah, it wasn't bad. But
Gotcha.
I guess some cars, they're just shaky. There is a real difference between an Uber Black and an Uber X. There are some cars that are just like the whole time the axle's loose or something. I don't like it. But Ubers are expensive. But I also talked to an Uber driver the other night from LAX to our place. And poor Uber drivers, if you take Ubers, please tip them well. Uber is fleecing these guys. They are not making any money. And they can't like strike and come together because they all work. There's no like hub where they all go hang out and sit around the water cooler and like talk. So it's hard for them to like get together and go like, this is not good, but they're just all barely getting by. It's really sad. And Lyft apparently is worse. So I just want to put that out there. Please tip your Uber drivers very generously if you can afford to. Because
do you think you'd
rough.
buy a car out there?
No, because parking is such a bitch. I mean, I do think, because I was talking to Chris last night. I was like, it'd be ideal to have like a personal chauffeur, because Amy had that for a while. She would just like, there was always a guy that was just waiting for her, and I go, that's what Uber is though. Like, what? I'll just get that, and it is nice to not have to find parking and deal with street parking and like paying insurance and worrying about like hitting someone. And, I think it's just worth it to just do Uber everywhere. I like the idea, but I don't like the idea that I'm supporting an industry that fucks over their workers though. But I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I don't know. I mean, maybe just you find a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I guess a personal chauffeur is better. If it's his own company and it all goes to him, I guess that's why that could be better, but it'll be so much more expensive.
Yes.
I mean, that would be That would be insane.
It's already-
think.
I mean-
unless you get a guy with a jiggly car.
I'm gonna get a helicopter. I do worry. It's so peaceful out in Santa Monica. I thought I'd get out here and be like I'm worried about a tsunami, honestly. Like, I just don't want to have to die drowning or getting hit by garbage in water. I'm so scared of natural weather events, and it feels like the Midwest is the safest place to not be around those. Also, the air out here feels good out by the ocean, but it's dry. I don't know. It was fun last night. I ran into Annie Lederman and Jeremiah Watkins backstage. We took there was a photographer there, and we all decided to pretend we're Hanson and take a photo shoot. So that was really fun. So I look forward to that picture coming out. I was like, can I be Taylor? And I was like, I don't even know what that means. I just want it. And so but it was good because Annie was talking to me about going to a hypnotist, and she's just like so positive lately. And like, I don't know, there was just like a different vibe about her. Annie Lederman is hilarious and very like, I told her she made me laugh the other day because I watched a clip and she was talking about how she had a dream where she was someone in a coffee shop witnessing her come like storming in and being like, just like being loud Annie Lederman, and she like saw herself from a different perspective and was like, wow, I'm a lot. And I just related to that because you never think about how loud and, like just demanding of attention you are. I mean, I she's a little bit more so than me. She really is just has so much confidence, is so like, I don't know. I wish I had more of that. And she even said it. She was like, you're richer than me. Why aren't you happier than me? She was like, you should be less insecure than I am. And I was like, I guess, but I'm just like not. And then we were talking about, she's talking about all like the, psychedelics she's done that have made her like, she was like, I'm coming off of Skankfest weekend, which is this big comedy festival that they did in Las Vegas with like so many of our comedian friends, Andrew and I's friends, were there. And she was like, I said something like negative, and she was like, oh, I was talking about, bringing people up on stage, and I was like, I hate it because either the person has to bring me up and I know they don't even like me and they have to be like, this next comedian, she's so funny. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not like Bill Burr doesn't know who I am. I don't want him to waste his breath on like coming up with my credits that he doesn't even know. Like, I just get embarrassed by it. And she was like, wait a second, every comedian loves each other now. Like, what do you even, she was like, oh, I forgot I'm coming off of a lot of psychedelics off of this weekend. You're right. We probably don't all like each other. But she was like, she goes, that's not a thing. Everyone likes each other. And she goes, oh wait, I'm still like tripping. But she was super positive and I liked her vibe. She was like, let it go. Because I was talking about how nervous I am to promote shows and make videos of like, hey Memphis, I'm coming to town. Hey Thousand Oaks, California, catch me this November. Like, I'm just so humiliated by it and I can't do it. And Jeremiah and her really talked to me about how I need to remember that people actually want content from me. Like, when they see a video come up, they're like, they want to watch it. Whereas I just have one female comic who is kind of a bully from 2013 in my head. She is always the person that stops me from posting everything. She doesn't even exist anymore. She's older now and doesn't do that. Like, I don't even think about the version of her now, but the version she was in 2013, I think about that girl seeing me and going like, ew. And I just can't get it out of my head. And they were like, you need to remember your fans actually want things from you. And that if you don't tell them where you're going to be, they don't have a chance to see you. And really what we do is like bring joy to people's lives, and we get them out of their heads for a fucking hour of their day. We give them relief in the form of, laughing, and we also let them see the world differently. We make them feel less alone. Like, we're doing a service. So if you think about like you're denying someone the chance to see you by not promoting it, then you can maybe get yourself to promote more things, because I think I just forget sometimes that anyone would want anything from me because I have such low self-esteem. And I know I probably shouldn't say that on this podcast where people listen to me every day, but I forget that.
I don't think
it's so weird to forget that I have a product, even though that's my entire life. Is like the thing that I have made my career off of.
your
I
brand.
forget people even want it. And I think that people actually don't want it and they're going to make fun of it and that they're going to stop following me if I post too much. Like they're just going to go, oh God, and mute me. Like, but the thing is I never ever see someone promote their shows and go, ugh, ever. I mean, today I did because I go, so much production value went into this. It's not even funny. Just make a video in your apartment talking selfie style. Like, why did you spend all of this money on this video that literally led to nothing? That's where I judge people, but I don't think me making a video like come see me in Davenport, Iowa is going to make people mad at me. Why do I have that in my head?
I have the exact same. I literally, right before this podcast started, 20 minutes before, I made a selfie saying, come see me in Austin, Texas. I'll be at Cap City. And then I couldn't just say it sincerely, so I added like a little, like stupid little joke, like I'll be going down the lazy river on the rope swing and get a cool taco with an authentic beer. Thanks. And then,
well, that's a joke. That actually is a joke. Like that's I think people
but
should add jokes to it.
Okay, well, all I know is like it wasn't being viewed that much and not being liked, and I just took it down. I was like, I'll just put in my story.
How long did you wait for it to? Did you monitor it for like 20 minutes?
25 minutes. I gave it. Yeah, 20 minutes or so.
Well, also,
I know I'm crazy.
Yeah. If I post something, that's the thing. I don't care about the likes. Once I post it, it doesn't matter to me, and I won't check it. So I don't know why I even care. I've never once gone back on something and looked at the likes or the views. I've never done that. So why am I? Even if it did well, I wouldn't know. If it did poorly, I wouldn't know. What am I worried about? I'm worried about that one girl making fun of me and thinking that I'm a loser, or someone being like, oh, her face is kind of getting old. Oh, she just did her lips. She shouldn't have done that, sending it to people. And the truth is, I think that way because that's what I do. I won't stop. And Annie even said last night, she was like, you're not going to stop being that awful about other people and judging them until you stop doing it to yourself. So it was kind of an epiphany, that and crying as I walked down the street because my jeans didn't fit, and having my boyfriend be like, you've never looked better to me. And I'm like, I can't like breathe. Like, I think I look good too, but I can't breathe and I need to get new pants. And I was just like,
I think where my brain goes is I go, it only got this amount of likes, which I don't really, it just makes me think if it's this amount of likes, then no one's going to come to this show and no one likes me. No one thinks I'm funny. Like all that shit goes from.
You think that people will like go to the show less if they see, they'll actively not go to the show. Whereas if they never saw that, they might go to the show, which doesn't make any sense. Because if they don't see that, they don't know about the show. Yeah. Last night I made a poster. I can put pictures up all day long. Pictures, posters.
Yes.
No problem.
Same.
Video for me is excruciating. Yet I watch people all the time post stuff that is so, and it wastes my time. I watch these people posting things and I'm like, I watch this. It's not always that I scrutinize and judge. It's quite often that I go, man, I wish I could do that. And I just don't know what the holdup is. And so many besties have written me and said really nice things about when I kind of talk about these fears I have and put my mind at ease. But I think we just need to remember, like, our job is to put out stuff. And if we don't do it, it's as if we're showing up to work and not doing data entry. We're just sitting there and staring at a blank screen like we work in North Korea on a computer or whatever they do. If you've ever seen those videos where people are like, here's active bunch of young North Koreans working on computers, and they're all just like, they don't even know how to work a mouse. And it's just that's what it would be like. We have to, the work we have to put in is putting out content, and it's like Jeremiah was saying, Watkins, who does hilarious stuff, was like, sometimes I put out a video and I'm just like, no one wants this. I put out too much stuff, but like, I have to remember this is my job and this is what people want. People do want this. People want to see your face. I don't know why it's so hard. And I guess it's not so hard for me to perform live because it's like one thing and people can't go back and send it to their friends and make fun of it. It's that like lasting nature of a post that really gets me more so than.
Yeah, and the video feels personal. Like, even if it's a video, it feels more personal than like a poster. Like, I don't know, I get hurt more. I get more emotional about it. And it's like, I probably should talk to a shrink about it, to be honest, because I don't know why I value it so, or like why it makes me think of my value more or less because of it.
I would say stop
I don't
looking
think
at
I'm
the likes.
alone.
Like if you took that out of
Yeah.
it, it might help. Like
Which I do. I just like
because you
I
are
eliminate
putting
the
a
likes.
you're putting a value on it. If you look at the like you are putting a value on it. Like this
Yeah.
is either successful or it's not. And then what does that mean? But if you just put it out there and because your fear is that someone's going to see it and say and make fun of it. Are you scared people will make fun of you?
I just think it's more. I think people will. First of all, I know promotional things get less likes, just like across the board. So I understand why it doesn't do as well. And I think what it is I get another comedian will come across and be like 48 likes on a show, promoting a show. God,
So
no
it's
one's
again,
gonna
it's
be
what
there.
other
What a fucking
comedians like.
loser.
So exactly what I
Yeah,
said. Yes.
yeah.
So it's about
Yeah.
other comedians judging you, not really like actual audience members.
No, actual people too. But yeah, there's no one really in particular that I'm
Can you
thinking of,
hide
but
the likes?
I think it's not.
I think there's a way to hide the likes.
You can.
So
You
let's
can.
just do
You
that.
can, which I do.
Okay.
I do that.
Why didn't you
I
do it on this
that.
last one?
I don't know. I was just like, the other thing is the views. It was only like 240 views in like 20 minutes, where usually I get like 1,500. So I'm like, okay, that quickly. So I was just like, all right, no one's seeing this anyways.
Will
More
you
people are
look
going to
up-
see it in my stories
Yeah.
anyways.
Okay. You're looking down so sad at your shoe.
Oh, sorry.
You're in the top of your
Yeah,
head.
I'm just.
Keep that chin up, Andrew.
I was counting each person that
Keep your
liked it,
chin
all
up.
7 of them.
Keep your
So,
chin up.
anyways, go to andrewcollincomedy.com and get tickets to my show.
Yeah, go to our shows. I have a tour
Yeah.
that is going so many places. I am all over the place. Vermont, California, Iowa, Reno, Memphis, on and on and on. And then New Year's Eve in St. Louis. Please come out to that show. It's going to be spectacular and so special to bring in the new year together. And we will be back with, let's do a little bit news when we get back from this. Can we go to break, Noah?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right, we're back. Let's get to the news.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Oh, it's Wednesday, folks. You know what that means. It is Wednesday. Apparently, we're having all the swells. Back to you in the booth there, Noah.
Okay. Well, in sad news, a Georgia college student died instantly when he walked into the still spinning propeller of an airplane he had rented for a dinner date.
This is awful. This kid wanted to be like he was on The Bachelor. He probably saved up his money to like give this girl of his dreams like the best date of her life. They fly back after having the dinner date. They're getting out of the plane and he is just feeling confident about to get his maybe first kiss with her and walks right into the propeller and she and everyone else
The pilot
see
have
the-
sex.
Yeah.
Oh.
And use the man's blood as lube. Yeah, I mean, this is. I regret saying that. Andrew brought me there. I had to finish it.
Hey.
I am so disturbed by this story, and I'm so sad about it. Like there was a woman. I think she survived. She walked into a propeller. These stories always. I go deep diving on these stories and try to figure out everything because it's just so disturbing to me. I am always so scared whenever I go on a tarmac to board a little plane or a helicopter or any. I feel like I sound like I'm live quite a jet setting life. I've flown on some PJs before, but I have.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that commonly happens. People need to be very careful out there. If you ever board a plane, don't think that you're smarter than this guy. Like, this could happen to anyone. It's like a low propeller, and the propeller's going so fast you don't see it.
Well, the thing
And
is,
it's just so sad.
the date got out of the plane, and then he comes out and walks towards the front of the plane.
Yes.
So he had walked into it.
Yes, that's what happens. They walk into it. They don't see it because it's
it's
whirring
so
so
fast,
fast.
yeah.
You don't see it. It looks like
Ugh.
nothing. Or he could have been like talking to her and a little distracted and it was in his peripheral vision. And so it wasn't, I mean, but what those people
Also, I think
witnessed.
propellers on the wings,
Oh,
Like I don't think of it on the center
Like
of the
a
plane. Like most
B-52
planes.
bomber or
Oh,
something.
right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just wouldn't think of it being there.
it's so
also, I think it was
sad.
2 of his friends were flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 of his friends were the pilots.
Maybe he went to go say something to
Oh,
them.
I mean, yeah. Imagine seeing that.
I mean, that's the first of all, I don't even want to think about the injuries he sustained to kill him. Like, it must have been so awful, but witnessing that, those people are going to have so much trauma. It's so awful. Please be careful out there. I have another kind of thing. Like, first of all, I did the
Wonder who
seatbelt rant
gets his
yesterday.
miles, you know?
I did the seatbelt rant yesterday, and the other night I woke up Chris in the middle of the night. Did I tell this one about drowning? Don't ever try to save a drowning person.
Yes.
By jumping in.
Yes.
What do you mean?
I think I told
him.
Noah
what
and
do you do, get a
Catherine
stick?
this weekend, but I woke up Chris in the middle of the night. I thought he was still awake, but we were like kind of drifting off to sleep. We're both on Reddit. That's what we do. And then we share each other, sometimes we'll share the same thing at the same time with each other because we're both on Reddit. But I saw this thing that was like, a life pro tip. And it was like, don't ever try to save a drowning person by jumping into the water. Because no matter how good of a swimmer you are, a drowning person is frantic, is flopping around, doesn't know what they're doing, and you will drown too. They'll drown you. And even me, I'm like I think that's one of the things I'm best at in the world is swimming and staying afloat. And even I was like, oh, I think I'd be okay. And I read further, and it was like, my friend, this happened to my friend. He was an accomplished swimmer. He died from someone pulling him under. So what you do is you throw something out to them. You'll both die. Like let's say you stay on the boat and you're like, I'm just going to watch someone die. Well, either that or you both die. So, hand them a broomstick, throw them a rope, do something like that. But or honestly, it said, wait till they're unconscious and then go in. Wait till they stop flopping around because they will pull you down. So that's just a good thing to know if you are ever in that situation, because I think my first reaction would be jump in and save them. And I would have died had I not read that a week ago. Or whatever it is.
I think a Phil Collins song was about that. But
Yeah.
that was what I think. Like, that's so funny to wait till they drown until you save them.
You're just
It's
like, I'll be there in a
wait,
second when you're
he's still
unconscious. When you start to see the
Yeah,
light,
yeah.
that's when I'm gonna make the plunge in and go. Yeah, there's
why,
little
why do I feel like I've heard
things
this
like
the
that.
same thing about quicksand? Remember quicksand? I remember someone go, "Don't ever
Don't
go
fight
in to
it.
get them."
And also
Oh, yeah.
riptides. If you don't know about riptides, always swim parallel because they go perpendicular to the water. And if you don't know what those words are, go back to school. So a riptide is going to be a thin stretch of water that's going to pull you out. And if you fight it by trying to swim back to the shore, towards the shore, you're going to tire out because you're just in this flume. It's like a little river that is pulling you out, and it's going to tire you out and you'll drown. But if you just swim to the side, you'll get out of it faster. So these are just little things. If you have any water tips to share with us on the show, just leave us a message. The link is in our bio. Noah, what's the next story?
Next story is Drew Barrymore has said that she has no interest in altering the aging process with cosmetic surgery and has vowed to live life naturally despite pressures due to working in Hollywood.
So she says now. Wait till it gets worse. Not that actually she looks amazing. I'm captivated by Drew Barrymore. She shows up on my Instagram and I just think she is so beautiful. I love her hair. I love her look. I love whoever styles her and does everything for her show. Like, she is just one of the most watchable faces ever. And it doesn't look like she has had work done, and she looks fucking good, but it's hard to say you won't someday. I don't know. I respect that. That is not who I am. I'm planning a facelift around 40, 42. Maybe smaller ones before then. And I know that's like makes people sad, but I feel the same way about like if, my knees gave out, I would get like a knee replacement. Like to feel good, I need to not, and I sleep on my face so hard. It's just like, aging sucks, but I do respect that. Andrew, what do you think about it?
Well, I think people get upset remember when Alicia Keys was like, I don't wear makeup, I'm going no makeup, but she has a gorgeous face. She doesn't need makeup. So people are like, well, it's easy for you because like Drew Barrymore, I feel like is almost in the same vein of like, you are aging incredibly well. Maybe you're lucky enough where you haven't had to have these things
she
done.
could get some stuff done. I'm not being rude about that. She could get things done
No, I know.
very easily. Like she's a woman
But I'm
that
just saying, compared
most
to an
people
average
at her
person,
age in Hollywood would do something. Would have already done stuff.
Yeah.
And she is proof that like you can look fucking sexy and beautiful without having that stuff done. But that's the problem is you go, what am I leaving on the table? Hopefully a lot of skin when they remove it. But what if I don't
And
do
money.
something, what could it be if I actually did something? Like how good could I look? And what would that mean? Like even last night when I was crying about my jeans, Chris was like, I think you look amazing. And I was like, it is not about how I look. I think I look great too. It's just, I want to not buy, I just don't want to buy new. I like my clothes and I want to feel like I'm not suffocating in them. And I don't want to take off my pants and have an imprint like my body's made of Play-Doh, and that doesn't go away until the next morning from my jeans cutting off my circulation. It's like, I just feel deeply uncomfortable in such tight clothes, but it is.
I feel like you made up a word there, by the way, which is incredible.
What did I make
I think
up?
you said stuffocating, which it's a perfect word for what your legs are doing in the pants.
Man, if I did say that, I didn't mean to, but that does, yeah, I'm stuffocated. Go back and hear what I
It's
said.
such a
I would
good
like
word.
to know.
It's a great word, though, and it's exactly what that word should
I
be.
do feel
Stuffocating.
suffocated. It's just so uncomfortable. And I just, and my Instagram knows what I'm into, man. All they show me is liposuction, facelifts, nose jobs, before and afters, M sculpting. People just
Do you feel like when you touch down in LA, you start thinking about these things more because obviously it's done more there, even though in St. Louis,
because
it
my
happens everywhere
Instagram
now,
is
but-
LA, baby. Like everything I see on Instagram,
yeah.
I don't really leave the house in St. Louis, and people in St. Louis are beautiful. Somewhere I haven't been to that place, but I have a feeling somewhere they're looking good. But no, and people in St. Louis are stunning. It's everywhere now. Like everyone can look this good, but it's mainly on Instagram and online where I see the stuff that LA follows me everywhere on there, and it's hard. And body positivity counts, like they're always girls who are crying and being like, yesterday was hard. I cried 14 hours because I hate
happened?
my body. But today I realized
No.
that God gave me that. And I'm like, so yesterday you were sobbing and today you have it all figured out and everything's fine now. I just don't buy this like whole thing about girls. And then there's this other account I follow and I want to fucking kill this woman. She is stick thin and she always makes these TikToks of like, when they like point at different places and little facts pop up. And she's like, remember when we used to starve ourselves? Remember calorie counting? No more. And it's like, but you are literally you're a little twig. You are this thin. I don't even understand what you could have wanted your body to be before. Don't talk to me about body acceptance. You look amazing. And like, it's not about diet culture. It's just, I'm sure she is beyond all of that, but I kind of call bullshit. And I call bullshit on pretty much all of it. I don't know if you could send me if people out there know body positive accounts that you actually believe, and don't send me Lizzo because I have a hard time believing that as well. I would love to see it. But
Look, I'm sure there's a pair of 000 pants that she can't fit into right now, and she's freaking out. She's suffocating in them. Those triples.
Tired of these girls making green tea matcha drinks and talking to me about like balance in their body and loving
Why
themselves.
are you following these accounts?
I don't. They just pop up.
It's like I want war videos, and you're showing me Kate Moss.
It really is. And
Yeah.
then you get sucked into it and then it just feels like cutting because you just want more. You want to see more of why this woman's life is so much better than yours. And even the women who are, I'm not talking about like just glorifying all thin people. There are women that are like, bigger than me, whose lives I completely am jealous of because they seem to just be so happy and love themselves and look good in their clothes. And I'm like, why can't I do that? It's just, it's frustrating, but I'm going to work on it. And by working on it, I do not mean I'm going to diet or exercise. I'm working on, it's all about like other stuff. Cause even last night when I was crying to Chris about my tight pants, he was like, so what are you going to do? Like, what's the solution here? Or at least I said something like, I just need to work harder. And I could tell he was like, what does that mean? I'm like, and it doesn't mean dieting. It doesn't mean going to a workout class. It means
What is the best thing a guy can say to a woman that's like, I feel fat today, I feel different, I look different today than she did yesterday, which you know is irrational, but
Chris
you don't want
always
to
says
say,
to me,
like, what are the ways to...
I wouldn't notice it in a million years. Like, I think you've never looked better. And that makes me feel good. And even last night I was like, that matters to me. Like, you thinking that I look better this size than a size I prefer to be, that matters to me. Like, I want to look good to you. Like, I would prefer to look good to you than good to me. So just like saying, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't see it. But I'm sorry you feel that way. But the truth is, don't ever say anything about like, well, we can go to the gym together. Maybe we can start eating healthier meals. Don't do that shit, because that is not what a girl wants to hear. Noah, do you agree?
Yeah, 100% agree.
God, where were you 2 days ago?
Don't say like, hey, well, we can start going to more classes. Why don't we start doing this more? Like, girls just, when we're feeling quote unquote fat or disgusting or whatever the thing is, we just want to feel loved. We're feeling completely unlovable, and we just want like to feel loved,
Validated,
and like spiritually. And that's the work that needs to be done, is like, you need to work on your insides. And it took me fucking 20 something years to figure that out, that the solution when I'm feeling this way, and I'm allowed to feel this way. Sometimes people write to me and they're like, you seriously still have body issues. You talk about wanting to be thin all the time. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit. It's coming at me from all angles. But the thing I don't do anymore is starve myself. The thing I don't do anymore is exercise and burn 1,000 calories at a time, thinking that's going to give me anything except ravenous hunger that's going to make me eat more than I should. But I'm allowed to complain. I'm allowed to feel uneasy in my body. I'm allowed to say that I don't feel good. And that doesn't mean that I think that you, listener, would not like. I think some people go, well, if you think you look bad, then you would be disgusted by me. That's not it. My self-esteem comes from inside. I have a spiritual problem of like feeling like I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, and it has nothing to do with my outer appearance, because I have been the size. And my face has looked the way I've wanted it to look before. My body has looked exactly the way that I would want my body to look before. And I still wasn't happy. So I know that for a fact. I go back and look at pictures and I go, God, look at your body then. It was like, that was everything. Like that you looked like a supermodel. Like you had a supermodel figure. And I wasn't happy. And I remember the day those pictures were taken. So I just know that's not the solution. But the solution is definitely not for a boyfriend to recommend dieting or exercising with you. Let's go to final thought and have a little bit of Andrew's short stories circle segment special.
Andrew's succinct short story circle segment.
All right, Andrew, what do you got for us today?
I hinted at it a few months or like a month ago, but when I went to, so my brother was nice enough to, my older brother, who's successful, an alpha male, kind of alpha-ish, I guess. He just gets shit done. He always gets shit done.
He's an alfalfa male.
My whole life. He's an alfalfa male. He was nice enough to offer a trip with me and Brenna to go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. They sent us a itinerary. That's a big thing that they do, is like, from 9 to 10 we'll be, looking at rocks.
Successful people love a very regimented schedule. It's almost as if that makes people successful. It's almost like that's the key to it. But let's make fun of it instead.
Weird. Yeah. What losers successful people. Yeah. I mean, he's gotten better, and his wife is similar. Like, she's very organized. They're both professionals, like do very well. She's a doctor. Runs a hedge fund. Like, everything is organized and whatever. And then, I could have gone to Jackson Hole and stayed in the bed and maybe seen like one boulder and been like, holy shit. I never have organized my whole life. So they send us this website of an activity we can do, which is essentially hiking. I thought it was hiking. I didn't want to look into it because it looked very scary. And it was like jagged rock. And it was something I didn't want to do. I don't like heights. And because of that, I didn't look into it because I was so afraid. And then I get there, we fly in, and it's the day to fucking do this. Did Brenna look into it,
or are you one of those guys that's like, I got the itinerary, babe. I'll handle things. Or did you share it with her?
I'm not. I'm not that guy at all, but she's a ledge head, so she looked at it and she's like, "Oh, I hope we did the hardest one." And I was like, "Really?
it.
Like
Yes.
this is?"
Okay.
I think you might have to. So I'm thinking she might have to go without me this whole time. I'm just like, "You go without me. I'll stay behind. I'll cook for the kids. I'll take care of the
Cook for
pots
the
or whatever.
kids. Right.
First of all, I can make a scrambled egg. So
Yeah, one
we
egg
get
for
there-
yourself. I can't imagine
It's
you like
scrambled.
making enough food for 2 people. Okay, go on.
yeah, I would eat it before. I'd be like, "All right, 4 for me, 1 for you, Sid." Okay, stop looking at me, bitch. I'm talking to the 3-year-old. So we get there and it's time, and we go and we take the gondola up like 8,000 feet. So you're not only climbing from like the bottom, you're starting from
You're
the
starting at
heavens.
the
Like
top.
that's where
The opposite of
you're
Drake.
starting at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started from the top, and we're more top. So I'm losing my mind, and like I want to be tough in a way in front of my girlfriend and
your
like
brother.
everyone else is doing it, and my brother and his wife, and they're like, "You can do it." And I hate when my brother gives me that voice, even though it means well. He's proud of me. He's like, "You got this," and I'm like, "I know I got it, motherfucker. I can do this. You're doing it. I can do it." Like I get defensive, and so we start climbing, and literally the first thing you climb, we put on like full on gear, like helmet, like rappelling gear.
Do you know how long
And I
this
didn't
day is
know.
going to take?
No, I have no idea what this hike. I thought
You
we were
didn't want to
hiking. It was going
ask.
to be a
Like,
little
I would
steep.
need to know how long is this going to take? Tell me exactly
Yeah.
what's going to happen. When are we going to eat lunch? When are snacks? When's nap time? What do we do if we see a goat? Like, I would want to know everything.
Sounds
So
like an
you're just going into
itinerary.
it not knowing what's going to happen
when I
at
have
all.
fear, I want to know less.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I just do.
Yeah.
So we get to the top, and like literally the first thing is you climb like 25 feet, and it's vertical. It's just vertical, and there's like bars, there's metal bars into the rock, but you're climbing a mountain. Like you're starting from 8,000 feet, so I'm 8,025 feet up. So I'm already
Jesus.
looking down, and I'm like, what the fuck am I getting myself into? But I gotta be tough. I gotta be strong. I gotta do this for some reason. And we get to this point where you have to then just hike a little bit up, like the smallest little walkway, and you just fall down to jagged rock, like thousands of feet.
Are you
and they're just
are you like strapped into anything?
at this point, you're not strapped in because we're
Oh
walking
my
to the place
God.
where you have to strap in.
I wouldn't do it.
And I'm frozen. I freeze. I literally freeze. And I have Brenna going, just hold my hand. Just hold my. And I'm like, I don't need. Like, part of me is like wanting to be
You
the
can't.
toughest.
If I slip, you're going down with me
Yeah.
then. Like a
That's
drowning
true.
guy.
Wait till
yeah.
I fall. Wait till I
Yeah.
die, and then come get me.
Yeah, wait till I'm
so-
unconscious. Dive in after.
So she's like, "You got it." And the more I hear that voice, I don't know what it is about
yeah,
that
it's
voice.
being
and I
pitied.
know-
It's being babied. You are
Yeah.
want to be a strong man, and you have your girlfriend talking to you like you're a baby. So yeah, men are not going to respond to that voice well.
and the instructor's going, "You got it." And then my
Oh,
brother's
I
like, "You
hate that
can do
voice
this,
so
brother."
much too. I hate it when people are just like everyone has to like lower their like they have to and then when you finally do it, they're like, "Yay!" And you're like, "Shut up!
I
You
hate
all
that.
did it so
Yeah.
easily, and you didn't congratulate yourselves." And now I'm like this, like I just climbed Everest because I crossed a little bridge. Ugh, it's so embarrassing. It's so patronizing. I hate it.
My brother would do it when we'd visit
This
my
is why I
grandma.
don't
and he'd be like, "I'm
play
so-"
golf with you because if I do something a little bit good, it's like, wow, Nikki. I'm
That's a
just
good
like,
point.
you wouldn't give a fuck about this if you did it. Don't act like this is impressive. But
That's a
people are
good
just
point.
trying to be
That's a good
nice.
point.
I mean, Brenna was doing exactly what she should have done, which is be
the
supportive.
nicest person ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it goes back to, we'd visit my grandma, and my brother would be like, "You did such a, I'm so proud of you boys for visiting." I'm like, "You're 2 years older than me. I was going to visit grandma anyways. Okay.
Were you?
So anyways, no, of course not. He drove and paid for the Uber, black. And so then we start climbing the mountain again, and I'm going last. I thought maybe that'd be good, but then my brother and Brenna decide to climb it without using the ladder, the metal. So I'm in the back, so no one's pushing me to go forward, and I have to wait for them to go slow. So I'm having a full-on panic attack on the mountain, and I can't climb back down because climbing back down, then it's
There's
even
nothing
scarier.
worse than
So
there's
you're like,
no way out. It's like the way I feel on
What am I
roller
gonna get, a
coasters.
helicopter?
Yeah. When you're going
So-
up. Oh.
So we're climbing, and finally I get in front, and I realize, like, okay, I'm going on my own pace, but I'm having a full-on panic attack while having to do like usually you have a panic attack, you could lay down, you could stop. And then I don't know, like 10 minutes in, I started to get really present. I didn't focus on being 9,000 feet in the air. I just literally looked at the rock in front of me.
Yeah.
And it sounds cheesy, but it's like, it made me so fucking present and so like in the moment where nothing else mattered. Likes on my phone, like that shit, like all you can think about is
Surviving.
the foot, what's the next step and surviving. And I get to a point where I go, okay, are we almost there? He's like, actually, we're only halfway. So I was still like kind of freaking out. But then I got to a point where I just started fucking climbing and all my fears went away and all the focus. I mean, and then that made me realize, oh, this is why these fucking people do this, is because of how present it can make you. And then you go through that, whatever. I got to the top and just fast forward. I do bring that day to me in other things where when I can be present and lock in and be like, okay, I made it through this. And it made all the sense in the world why people do shit like that and why we always ask, like, why do you climb a mountain? Why the fuck do you? I've never been more present in my life. Other than maybe stand up at times, you have to be that locked in to do well. But like I was able to bring that moment
because you didn't have a choice. You had there's no fleeing that moment. There was no fight or flight. You had to just fight. I feel that way. I feel that kind of presence when I have pain, when I have a migraine or cramps. You can't be distracted by anything else. Like you can't watch a TV show, you can't read, like there or mental anguish if you're going through a breakup. Like those moments I feel are also like extremely meditative in the sense that you can only focus on one thing. Like, in meditation, you're supposed to just focus on your breath and you constantly wander away because your breath isn't that interesting and isn't that like demanding of your attention. But I think pain and also, that fear of like, I just gotta do this. I think that, that's cool that you've been able to like pull from it again and like remember that. But I also think that people who are ledge heads and like constantly go out and do climbing stuff, like I read this thing on Reddit where she was like, there was a woman climber who was like, never date a climber, never date a guy who's into climbing. These people who are constantly seeking out these like death-defying stunts or these high adrenaline situations because they can't ever love you because they're running from pain in their life emotional pain that they don't want to address. And that what better way to not think about anything else in your life, your fear of commitment, your fear of abandonment. If you're constantly climbing a wall where if you make one mistake, you fall to your death, you don't have time to worry about anything emotional. And so it makes sense that people choose extreme sports to like hide from things and that they really don't make the best partners. And this woman had this great thing about it. And I thought everyone was going to trash her because she was kind of annoying about it. She was like, don't date climbers. They're all the same. But everyone underneath was like, this checks out. My boyfriend was a climber. This checks out. Like they just aren't, they're never going to be there emotionally because they're climbing away from their issues. So it is interesting. It is a definite meditative state.
The guy that the instructor said that the people that die, obviously they're doing harder things, but it's the people that forget how dangerous it is. And those are the people
that walk into the propeller who aren't on alert. Like, thankfully, I'm an extremely anxious, totally paranoid person. But the second that I get a little bit too like, everything's fine, that's when the car kind of goes off the road. That's when, I fall or something. Like when I start to get cocky about stuff. My dad always says that the one time this guy that was like part of the traveling Wallendas, he was a tightrope walker. Oh yeah. There's a story of he was like the father of. I've probably told this before because my dad tells it a billion times.
I don't know. This
but he
in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it probably has something to do with Cincinnati. But they were famous tightrope walkers, and he was like the patriarch of the family. And his wife said that the only time she ever heard him doubt himself about a walk was the morning of the walk he died on. So it proves that like when you start to let that kind of doubt in of like what could go wrong and you aren't like focused. I mean, I don't know if it really pertains to this, but I always think about that. Like when you consider what can go wrong, it almost kind of manifests that and puts that out into the world. But I think about what could go wrong all the time. It's hard not to.
I feel like sometimes when I think about what will go wrong, it pushes me to make it right. So it actually makes me work harder, and I could use that energy for a positive. But
I also
do
think about there's
understand-
like the secret
Yeah.
of manifestation. So what's the difference between worrying about something that might happen in the future that you don't want to happen? How is that different than when you try to visualize something you do want to happen? And people always say, I visualize making $1 million. I visualize having a family I wanted. I visualize the job that I wanted and I got it. So sometimes when I'm visualizing the worst case scenario, I'm like, am I going to confuse the universe and make them think that I'm manifesting this because I'm imagining it so much and that it might happen? So I don't know.
I guess we need to ask our listeners, how many of you have visualized being a millionaire and how many have $1 million? Let's see.
I think that's something.
I think sometimes we hear, I know, I do too. I really do too. But I just think like you hear from that person. You know what I mean?
Anya
That
was
person.
just saying she watched the Kardashian show on Hulu and that Kim Kardashian was like, I knew I was going to be famous. I was like, wanted it so badly. I mean, granted, her dad was OJ's attorney and her family was already, and you know, her mom was married to Bruce
best friends with
Jenner.
Paris
So
Hilton,
it was
yeah.
like, okay. But I do think that there is something to that. Like I think that some of my success was because I was I just knew that it was going to work out. I just knew it. There was no doubt in my mind. I have so many doubts about other things, but like comedy working out there was never even the slightest. There was one time where I go, what if it doesn't work out? And I remember it was one day and a thought, and it was almost like you on that mountain. I can't turn back now. There's no doing anything else. I have to only believe that I'm going to make it up this mountain. I can't there's no point in entertaining going back down because you realize in that moment, I can't go back down. There's no point in it. So you let it go. And I think that there's one time I let it in and I was like, what would I do? Because so many people were like, at the time when I was struggling and had no money and was like, you know, well into doing comedy. And I had done the Tonight Show and Last Time I was Standing, but like nothing else was happening. And I was still needing to borrow money. And it was just like, what if this doesn't work out? Like, what if that's working out as doing the Tonight Show and then nothing after that? And there was a lot of like doubt in my parents of like, what are you going to do, Nick? Like if this isn't, and I just was like kind of laughed it off like, that's so funny that you think it won't. But I don't know where that came from. It wasn't something I tried to do. I wish I could do that for other things in my life. I've never been so sure about something else. And now it's kind of happened. And I wish I could kind of do that for, I don't know, just my personal life. It's interesting.
Yes.
But there's definitely ways to learn how to do that stuff. And that guy, Joe Dispenza, wrote a book about it, but I cannot stand his meditations and his voice. So I'm giving up on my dreams. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back tomorrow with one more show for this week. And I hope you're not cool out there. And don't be and Jack.
Sin hole.